felt like a snake moving through my stomach.
Jeez.
But they were telling me where it was showing on the lab work where the pain was localized. I should have been feeling the pain in that place, but I wasn't. As soon as I came out with my video about why I left Revelation, I immediately got sick, which was very weird because I go to the doctor regularly, and my regular doctor, I was speaking to him while I was in the hospital, and he was like, "You've never had this issue." So it came out of nowhere.
Is it even possible that someone who is a pastor or a man of God, maybe your pastor, who appears to be very good, like they heal the sick, they prophesy, they help the poor, they cast out demons, they preach good news, is it possible that such people could be working under the influence of the evil one? Like someone who is preaching for God or preaching the gospel is actually working with the devil. It's kind of very confusing, and that is the main reason why I'm making this video. Because recently, Prophet Lovy of Revelation Church, you all know him, has been going through a lot of attack from a lot of people, and it's very, very hard to ignore. I'm making this video because of this guy called Chris. So Chris was an ex-member of Revelation Church. So he claimed to have left the church, and after leaving the church, he started having, he decided to make a video exposing the church, right? And then after making this video, which I didn't really pay attention to because there's a lot of them flying out there, what drew my attention is this recent one that I'm about to share. Because he said that after making that first video, he started having like spiritual attacks, physical attacks, medical issues. And that is why I'm bringing it here. But whatever you do with this video, okay, is totally up to you because you are the judge, okay? I'm not here to take sides. You also heard E.J. Newton saying a lot of things. I'm not here to take sides. This is up to you to see and judge and tell me what you think. He had like 3 issues that I'm going to show you guys here. And while you're at it, like, subscribe, and also tell me what you think, okay? Let's jump right into it.
So basically what happened was that they said that I had gallstones and I had to get my gallbladder removed. And then they said I had 3 stones on my liver. But my doctor that I had been seeing tell me that, and I knew this because I requested. I've been being checked for this when I go to the doctor, and I've never had this issue before. So when I went to the doctor, they said, well, you could have had this for years and never knew. But my current doctor was like, no way. And another thing that was weird was that where the hospital I was in, they were telling me where I was supposed to be feeling the pain. They said I should have been feeling the pain around my rib area on my right side, but I felt it in the bottom half of my stomach, and I felt like a snake moving through my stomach.
Jeez.
But they were telling me where it was showing on the lab work where the pain was localized. I should have been feeling the pain in that place, but I wasn't. Every time I would get better, I would get worse. So what should have had me in the hospital for 2 days, I was in the hospital for 1 week. Yes.
What happened? And this happened the day you remember you're supposed to come on here and tell your story.
Yes.
What happened that morning? Your dream.
So I had a dream where my previous spiritual father, whether it was astral projection or a dream, I had a dream that he's telling me, oh, all you have to do is stop talking and all of the pain will stop. All of the pain will stop, And as I begin to get up and pray and rebuke the enemy, I begin to get sicker and sicker and sicker to the point to where I couldn't stand it. I was in so much excruciating pain that I had to go to the hospital. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You have to go through serious deliverance.
Yes. 1,000%. 1,000%.
The Lord is going to help you. The Lord is going to help you. But I'm glad that you're out. And
Yes.
we were going to talk about what was going on. But I said we're not going to talk about what the enemy has done. We're going to talk about the victory of Jesus. So we're going to talk about this after you get out. And now you're out. and the Lord made sure that you were safe, that you had a good procedure, whatever
Absolutely.
that was, and now you're out. So we
Yes.
thank God for what He has done.
Yes. Yes. And I just like what I want people to know also is that because I think a lot of the times what happened is that when people see the attacks, it prevents people who have genuine stories from speaking. But if the enemy was so powerful, then I would be dead.
Whoa, that's a huge statement. Like if the enemy was that powerful that he would be long gone by now. Let me just cut the chase and go straight to the other issue that he had, that I feel like you guys should know. It's like an hour long interview, so I don't want it to be so long, okay?
Tell us about the accident.
Yes. So also, as well as when I first separated and when I first made it public, when I first publicly told people that I was separated, I also had a car accident in my vehicle. I was driving home from work one morning, and I'm a professional driver. I'm a truck driver, so I've driven in all different types of weather. I'm driving maybe 15, maybe 16 miles per hour. And then my car speeds up out of nowhere. It starts going 30 on its own while it's raining and hailing. Starts going 30 miles per hour on its own, speeds up, loses control out of nowhere, and almost hit another vehicle. And then my vehicle slams into a gate.
You know, the mistake a lot of people make is when unusual things happen, they call it coincidence. Just imagine a car moving like several miles, like faster than it is supposed to without you doing it. It's obvious that it's something else that you cannot control, or maybe something else that you cannot see. And it's very painful that people call things like that coincidence. There is no coincidence in life. There are spiritual things that control the physical, and whether it's good or bad, we have to take it back spiritual by praying about it or taking the appropriate measures. Like I said, this is not to say because this is his story, okay? This is not to say that anybody caused it, but for sure the devil did cause it. Let's continue.
On the highway. And I just, a lot of people say, oh, it's coincidence, but no, it's like, how is it that everything is fine? But as soon as you speak up against darkness, you know, all of these things start happening. And I don't believe in coincidences, not one bit. So I want people to understand that when we speak against these things and we say that these people, me personally, I have taken a stand. I am not afraid to speak against darkness. These people are doing witchcraft, and I know it 1,000%.
There's something you said in your testimony. There was something you said in your testimony that blessed me. You said there is this saying about the man of God versus the prophet, but when God will
Yes.
judge, it's one person, the person is going to hell. Make that statement
Yeah,
again.
so
I want people
one
to
of the
hear it.
things one of the things that we will always be told was, especially when specifically, either yourself or when Gigi would come out with something new, you know, they would make this false doctrine of, and I know you've been speaking about it. Well, separating the man of God from the man, which I find stupid, because I'm like, when judgment comes, who's going to hell? Is it going to be the prophet or the man of God or the man? And they both go to hell because they're both the same person. So one side can't escape judgment. They're both going to go. Either they're both going to go to heaven or they're both going to go to hell.
So you guys heard what he said, what he went through. But the main reason I decided to react on this video, first of all, remember, like I said, this is his story. Whatever you do with it is up to you. Okay, this is not to come against anybody, Lovy or whoever. But the main reason why I made this video is the decisions we make. Okay, but before I say that, I want you to watch this part, and then I will say what I want to say. And this is about places we go to worship, and our decision on where we want to worship God. Because there've been a lot of stories. And let's just hear him out again.
Yes.
How did you find the ministry? And I want you to talk about how you got out. How did you find the ministry? And lead us, like, summarize, and people can go watch your video because you have the video on your YouTube page, which I'll tell you to share shortly.
Yes.
How did you get in?
Yes.
How did you get out?
So about 2 years ago, I rededicated my life to Christ, and Revelation Church Ministry was the first ministry that I was introduced to when I rededicated my life to Christ. So my sister was actually the one who introduced me to the ministry. She would tell me about watching the church and stuff. And when I started watching the ministry online, my very first video that I watched, it was almost like I couldn't stop watching it at all. I found myself constantly in a constant state of thinking, I gotta watch this, I gotta watch, you know what I'm saying, Revelation Church, I gotta watch, Lovey, constantly. So, and then it became a pull for me to go to the ministry, to where I started feeling the need to want to get out there. And that turned into something completely different, because when I actually got out there, and for everybody who's been to Revelation, they know that there is absolutely a spiritual presence there, you know, but the need to say this is the only place that God resides is demonic, because God is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So you go to this place and then you say, oh, well, God is only at this place. And that's not true. So that's kind of what started happening. I was going and I was like, okay, I feel like that I'm not close to God unless I'm at Revelation, you know, and that became a bigger issue within itself.
Okay, now this brings me to what I wanted to say. Okay, because I've realized that recently there's been a lot of stories. This is not to talk about anybody or who he is talking about. This is his story. Okay, a lot of people have complained a lot about men of God, and it has becoming a growing issue. It might be people complain about spiritual issues, and some people complain about financial issues, like being ripped off. Okay, here is my take. When I moved over to the States, I prayed to God to help me, direct my paths to where I'm supposed to worship Him, and He did. Okay, and He's been protecting me. Okay, this is what I would also want people to do. Like, if you decide to change your place of worship, or you decide to start worshiping God, listen to this. Proverbs 3:6. In everything you do, put God first, and He will direct your path and crown your effort with success. Before ever you choose to go to a church or decide to make this place your permanent abode, pray about it. Pray about it. Even if it means not going to church for like a week or two, but you are home praying for God to direct your steps to the right place. It is more important than going to a place where you get into trouble. Okay. Like I said, this is not to say that Revelation Church is bad. I wouldn't say that because I've never been there. I've not had a personal experience, and I don't know if I'll ever be there. But if for any reason you want to go anywhere, you have to ask God to direct your paths. And He that knows that you're actually seeking Him in truth will definitely help you out. Okay? While you're at it, subscribe, follow my page, and tell me what you think about this. Do you think these things are all meant to, make Lovey look bad? Or do you think that AJ Newton is still firing on and is looking good in the Christendom? Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time. Peace.